Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Nate Reacts. Today we're going to be looking at 10 amazing facts about Jupiter that shocked astronomers. I got no words right now. Anyway, let's see.
Mind-blowing facts about the massive planet. Number 10, it's a failed star. That's what astronomers
How is Jupiter a failed star? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out.
usually say when referring to Jupiter, but it's not necessarily an appropriate description. Even though like a star, Jupiter is quite rich in hydrogen and helium. It unfortunately falls short on the mass scale and is
Is there any life on Jupiter? Has anyone ever went to Jupiter to find out? It would be awesome if they did.
unable to trigger a fusion reaction in its core. Stars generate energy by fusing hydrogen atoms under extreme heat and pressure to create helium, releasing light and heat in the process. The entire process is possible all because of their enormous gravity resulting from the colossal mass. Jupiter, however, would need 70 times its current mass to be able to undergo the process of energy generation. Nevertheless, Jupiter remains a giant ball of gas that is of crucial interest for astronomers, without any hopes of becoming a star anytime soon. Number 9, Jupiter has the fastest spin.
That's sad, bro. This hopes of becoming a star it takes a while, I guess. It can't be like the big stars, you know.
Speed. If you thought having a large mass was going to be a hindrance for Jupiter, you couldn't be more wrong. In fact, with a rotational velocity of around 28,148 miles per hour, the planet only takes about 10 hours to complete a full rotation around its axis. As a result, it has the shortest day of all planets.
So you mean to tell me every 10 hours you'll have a birthday? Bro, you would die old. You would die old, bro. Very fast, you would die.
Despite its hefty size. It spins so rapidly that over time it is flattened out at the poles a little and is bulging at its equator. The points on Jupiter's equator are more than 2,858 miles further from the center than the poles. Such a fast speed of rotation is also the reason why Jupiter has remarkably powerful magnetic fields. It's actually 14 times stronger than the magnetic field of Earth. Compasses would be super handy on a place like Jupiter. Astronomers also think the magnetic field results from the eddy currents or swirling movements of conducting materials within the liquid metallic hydrogen core. Number 8, it has over 79 moons.
So basically, Jupiter is a magnet. Imagine sticking it on your wall, and then it's sticking to the wall. I don't know why I ever thought about that. It's dumb.
Even though it is estimated that the planet has over 200 natural satellites orbiting it, 79 of them have been confirmed and named by astronomers so far. Pretty much all of these moons are less than 6.2 miles in diameter and were only discovered after 1975.
I guess there are some tiny moons. I guess them are them little dwarfed ones.
Among them, there are 4 moons that are considered to be major, collectively known as the Galilean moons. In the order of distance from Jupiter, these are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. These moons happen to be some of the largest ones found in the solar system, with Ganymede topping the list. It has a diameter of 3,269 miles. They were first seen.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of distance right there. And that man has a big beard.
By Galileo Galilei in 1609 and recognized by him as satellites of Jupiter in the following year. Moreover, they were the first objects found to orbit a planet other than the Earth. Number 7. It has the brightest auroras in the solar system. The aurora borealis, also commonly known as the northern lights, are nature's dazzling fireworks that are quite a sight to witness. People have been treated to this phenomenon from time to time. It's caused by the collision of energetic particles with atoms in the high-altitude atmosphere, but it's not just limited to Earth. Auroras have been spotted on Mars, Uranus, and Jupiter.
Yeah, like, have you ever played that game Idle World? Like, you get to add auroras on the, like, see them spots around the Earth. It's awesome.
Over the years, with those observed on Jupiter being some of the shiniest auroras ever. Even though similar to Earth, auroras on Jupiter are also caused by solar storms. They are in fact hundreds of times brighter than the ones seen on Earth. The reason could be that Jupiter has an additional source that contributes to the sparkle: charged particles that are thrown into space by its orbiting moon Io, which is famous for its numerous gigantic volcanoes. Number 6. Its moons might actually harbor life. The Voyager and Galileo missions involved sending spacecraft to Jupiter and its moons. It was found that Europa, one of the biggest moons in the solar system, had a subsurface liquid ocean covered in thick ice.
Liquid ocean covered in ice? Bro, imagine our ocean turning into ice. But we would actually not get any water because most of our water comes from the oceans. And I guess they filter it out.
Europa happens to meet 3 of the fundamental conditions that are necessary to sustain life. These include biochemically helpful molecules, a source of energy, and a liquid solvent in which dissolved substances can chemically react with each other. For that reason, scientists now believe that Europa might in fact be capable of harboring life. Although unfortunately, to confirm the possibility, we would have to get beneath the ice one day by putting a lander on the surface with the potential to carry a submarine. That sounds like pure science fiction, but given the advancements in technology over the past few decades,
For real though, like, the Earth is advancing in technology very good, bro. Like, soon there will be robots taking over the Earth. Soon they won't be able to control them. They'll just be their own self.
it's highly likely that researchers might be able to pull it off during our lifetimes. Number 5. Jupiter was first tracked by Babylonians. We all know ancient Babylonians were skilled mathematicians, but to what extent precisely did their wisdom reach? They understood the Pythagorean theorem nearly 4,000 years ago, but their mathematical prowess knew no bounds. They were also pretty
They knew the Pythagorean theory 9,000 years ago. How? No, you mean it was smarter than Albert Einstein was? No.
interested in astronomy and regularly employed arithmetic to catalog the movements of celestial bodies. The discovery of Jupiter can be credited to Matthew Ossendriver from Humboldt University, Germany. He spent over 13 years studying 2,400-year-old tablets, containing what he later described as a small bunch of 4 weird trapezoid computations. Later, it was revealed that the trapezoids
Oh my gosh. So there's something 12 a day. So they did 12 inches, 12 feet a day. What? I'm confused about that. I don't understand.
encoded aspects of Jupiter's motion, including its appearance on the horizon. And that is how one of the most incredible and curiosity-provoking celestial bodies in the solar system was discovered. Number 4. The temperature near the planet's core may be hotter than the Sun itself. It is estimated that the core of Jupiter might be around 43,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh, have you stepped 1 foot under, you will incinerate, bro. Of pain. You wanna like melt, you would actually incinerate. Like, damn.
Which is higher than the temperature of the Sun. However, aside from the core, the surface of Jupiter has an average temperature of minus 234 degrees Fahrenheit. It is frigid even in its warmest weather. On Earth, temperature varies as one moves closer or farther from the equator. But on Jupiter, the temperature depends more on height above the surface of the planet. This phenomenon is explained by the fact that heat is driven not by the Sun, but by the sizzling hot interior of the planet. Since the distance of Jupiter from the Sun is around 484 million miles.
Gosh, imagine how long it would take to get to Jupiter. I mean, even from Earth, like, it'll take a long time.
Heat from the star is weak. Most of the gases are heated up from the inside of the planet itself. The convection from the liquid and the plasma hydrogen beneath the surface generates a tremendous amount of heat, keeping the gas giant warm enough to avoid complete freezing. Number 3. You can even see Jupiter with your own eyes. Jupiter happens to be the third brightest object.
You can see Jupiter with your own eyes? What? I never looked up in the sky and tried to see it. Like, I got so many trees around my house that will stop me from seeing the stars.
In the entire solar system, right after Venus and the Moon. There's a huge possibility that you've seen Jupiter in the sky without even realizing what you were seeing. When you locate a gleaming star high in the sky, there's a considerable chance that you're looking at Jupiter. Grab a pair of binoculars, and if you know someone with a telescope, that's even better. Even modest magnification would enable you to spot tiny specks of light orbiting it, which are most likely its Galilean moons. You could be gazing at exactly
That is awesome. How it has its own moons named like that. I mean, that's one thing they don't mention in the astronomy stuff, I don't think.
what Galileo saw when he located the planet in 1610, which is pretty fascinating on its own. Number 2, it has the solar system's largest planetary atmosphere. Composed of 90% hydrogen and 10% helium, Jupiter's atmosphere is another source of interest and curiosity for astronomers.
See, at first I thought it was the biggest. I think it is the biggest planet, right? Is it? Jupiter is the biggest planet and the most powerful planet out there.
The gases are in the same composition as those found in the Sun. It also contains other gases including ammonia, methane, and water, although these are in much smaller amounts. The atmosphere of Jupiter is distinct in that it lacks a clear lower boundary. It gradually transitions into the liquid interior of the planet. From the lowest to the highest,
So that's basically the skin of it is 4.4 miles wide. Damn.
the layers are termed as troposphere, stratosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Since the gas giant has no firm surface to touch down on, the atmosphere itself essentially makes up the entire planet. Number 1. Jupiter is the solar system's asteroid vacuum cleaner. Besides space missions launched from Earth,
Bro, it's a freaking vacuum cleaner? What? It's the solar system's vacuum cleaner.
Jupiter attracts a lot of visitors because of its sheer mass and proximity to the Kuiper Belt. The belt is a huge region of space beyond Neptune that is packed with asteroids and dwarf planets. According to astronomers, it is estimated that Jupiter experiences at least 200 times more meteorite impacts than Earth. We should all be thankful to Jupiter for cleaning the solar system of potentially hazardous asteroids that might have come dangerously close.
Imagine Earth getting like 10 asteroids a day and then it blowing Earth apart. Like, bro, we would actually be dead. We would die. Like, the Earth would not exist anymore.
Close to the Earth. In fact, some researchers claim that without Jupiter, life on Earth might have been obliterated by comets and asteroids before it even got a
Earth might be obliterated by aliens too. We never know. Anyway, that was a good educational video.